Hey YouTube, this is Tom at TM Aquatics and I hope everyone's doing great. It has been a while since I uploaded any content here on the YouTube platform. In fact, I don't even remember the last time I uploaded any content. It's been a few months at least. I have just been extremely busy in my personal life. I've been spending quite a bit of time with a couple other hobbies outside of fish keeping, and I've been doing a lot of searching for a new job. Mission accomplished. I start with a new company, new position, a lot less travel. It's going to be great. Monday, April 1st. But I'm going to be honest now. I'm going to get everybody caught up to speed on what's happening here at TM Aquatics. But it has been a very dismal and slow breeding season up until just maybe about a month and a half ago. And all of a sudden things just started to happen. So I'm going to take everybody around the fish room, get you caught up on what's been going on here. We've got a few new spawns, a couple of fish room firsts, whole bunch of fry, all kinds of different species, and we have a surprise unboxing. So anyways, I do hope you stick around and check this one out. Alright YouTube, we are going to kick things off and I'm just going to take you around, show you what has been spawning here at TM Aquatics. And as I mentioned in the intro, it has been a very, very slow breeding season, especially with my L134 leopard frog Plecos. Normally in a given year I spawn with just my original breeding, my original wild-caught breeders. I would get 150 to 200, sometimes even more fry each year. And now I have I'm just counting out loud here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 groups of L134s and I have nothing to show for it so far this year. However, my wild caught did just spawn for the first time this breeding season, which is why I don't have any lights on that tank. In fact, the male has been spooked out of his cave several times, taking him hours to get back on the eggs. It was a large spawn. I don't know how many eggs have hatched. What I do know though is I did see a wiggler out of the cave yesterday, and I did siphon him out, and I don't know if you can see with this reflection. Let me get a better angle. I did put a Zis tumbler, egg tumbler in there, and there is one juvenile in there. You might see that little yellow spot center frame. That is one juvenile. I know there were more in the cave, and he's down in this 1.5-inch circle cave center frame right there. And again, I don't know how many eggs have hatched. I don't know if more have been spooked out or flushed out by the male, if you will. I've taken a couple looks. I haven't seen any other fry that were kicked out. So fingers crossed, I'm going to probably pull them in another 3 or 4 days. I'm hoping for a nice spawn, but at this point, I'll take anything. Even if it's only the one I have in an egg tumbler, that is a success, because this year it's just been crazy slow and I'm not sure what has been going on with the L134s. Now I mentioned I have 6 groups of L134s here in this fish room. It is my favorite fish. It is the fish that I spend the most time and energy on. This here is my 55-gallon with my wild-caught, original wild-caught adults in there. Currently sharing that tank with them are some wobbin musters, which do spawn from time to time, some ancestress wobbin musters. And then I was tearing down a different tank here recently and tossed in my 9 L306 juveniles, and they're getting to the point where they need their own tank, and I'm not sure where I'm going to house them. In fact, I do have this week off, and I was planning to tear this tank down, reset it, and get those 9 L306 out of here. But since they spawned, I don't want to touch this tank right now. So we'll just have to wait and see how things go. So anyways, we do have a spawn of L134s in here. I'm not going to turn the lights on. I'm not going to shine a flashlight into that cave because he has been extremely nervous for whatever reason. Now over here On this triple stack of 40 breeders, I also have the lights off over here. My L471s in this bottom right 1.5 inch square cave, there is a male with, I don't know, anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen wigglers up into one of the corners of that square cave. Now this is a first time father. They have spawned before, however he did kick all the eggs. I tried to tumble the eggs and get them to hatch. They all went bad, and this is only the second spawn with this group of fish. Now he has been kicking out some of the juveniles, which is quite common for a young male, especially when they start to hatch. They get very nervous about, they really don't understand what's going on, and when those eggs start to hatch, it's not uncommon, like I said, for these young males to start pushing some of these wigglers out, or not knowing how to keep the wigglers in the cave, not just having enough experience to know how to position themselves to keep the wigglers from getting out. So anyway, 7 that I know of. There are 7 wigglers up here in this hanging mesh basket that I have, and I don't know if this camera's going to pick it up or not, but I'll see if I can zoom in. Yeah, you can see little juveniles in there. There are a total of 7 that made it out of the cave, and I was able to siphon them out and pour them into that little strainer and that floating basket, and that is where they will stay for a little bit, and then I'll eventually put them in a Zis fry box here in the very near future. So again, don't want to turn these lights on since he's a new male, or a new father, new dad, and 7 eggs or 7 fry I've already got out. I just don't want to add any more stress to him. So the L174 is nothing going on there. The L236, I have had 2 or 3 spawns with this group here. I have not had any successful spawns. So the male that has been doing the breeding, I think he's eating the eggs. And again, this is very common with young Plecos or young males, not really understanding things. They just need more time to mature and figure things out, and eventually we'll have some success. But the good news is there are some spawning, or there has been some spawning activity in this tank. Now the downside is I've also lost 2 females to very aggressive traps. Both of them got beat up very, very bad, and this happened at different times over the past several months. They were both beat up very bad and didn't respond well at all to the antifungal medication I added to the tank, and unfortunately I did lose both fish. But we still have probably an equal balance of males and females in there, and again, it's just a matter of time. So anyways, nothing going on with the L183s, of course nothing going on with the L46 zebras. Over here, my 20-gallon grow-out tanks, they are all in use. Over here in this tank farthest to the right, I have 35 to 40 peppermint plecos, the L181. And these have been doing quite well for me at the swaps and stuff, so I'll continue to spawn these fish, grow them out. But they look very similar to the L183. They just have a little different soft ray count on their back dorsal fin, and my 181s are definitely a little bit larger than the 183s, but when they're this size, they look almost identical. Just that dark black, white polka dot, white seams on the dorsal fin, white seams on the tails. I'll see if this camera will zoom in and pick that up. I don't know how focused that's going to be for you, but anyways, about 35 to 40 or so in that tank. Over here, just a few longfin, or not albinos, but longfin blue-eyed bushy-nosed plecos. Again, not a fish I really focus on, but people, they buy these long fins, so as long as they keep buying them, I'm going to keep breeding them. Also in here, you might see in the water column, there's about 40 or so Daisy's blue rice fish. Not a fish that I really focus on, but from time to time I like to grow out a batch or 2, and they sell extremely well at fish swaps. And they do rather well for me, and they're very, very easy to breed and very easy to grow out. So I don't know if you can see them, those little tiny specks going through the water column. Those are Daisy blue rice fish, and in case you're not familiar with what that fish is, these are the adults over here. And all I do to grow these things out is I drop a couple of these acrylic spawning mops in the tank. And I do this for not only the daisy blue rice fish, but the Corydoras bozemanii, which are right here. They will only spawn for me in these spawning mops when they're sitting on the bottom of the tank. If I put a floating spawning mop in there, they will not spawn. So anyways, with the daisy blue rice fish, I just drop those mops in this tank for a couple of weeks, let them get loaded up with a bunch of eggs. The gestation period on these rice fish, if I remember right, is like 11 to 14 days. So I like to put it in there for a couple of weeks to make sure it is fully loaded. I'll take those spawning mops out. I'll just simply come over here to one of these tanks, drop the spawning mop in, and all of a sudden you start getting a bunch of little fry. After a couple weeks, I'll pull the spawning mops in, rinse and repeat. If we wanted, we could have thousands of these things in the fish room right now, but that requires a lot of food, a lot of time, a lot of tank space, and it's just not my thing. So anyways, in this tank I do have another half a dozen daisy blue rice fish, a bunch of odds and ends plecos. Most of these are calicos, just standard calico bushy nose that happen to grow out in this fish room, and I'll be dumping those off at a nearby swap here as well. Over here in this tank, some long fin super red bushy nose, some of the nicest long fin reds I've seen in the hobby, and do have a bunch growing out in this tank here. And then over here in this tank I do have some ancistrus wobbin musters. You can see depending on where the camera wants to focus. Okay, it's not gonna like that, but there are some on the glass here. You might see, focus on my finger and then you'll get the fish. Come on, come on, come on. All right, camera's not gonna cooperate, but there's one on the glass there, another one up here. There's probably 20 or 25 wobbin musters in here. And then I also have 14 L397s in there, and then there's one L400 high pan cistrus. And most of the 397s and the L400, they're sitting down here underneath the sponge filter. And let's see, I do have a flashlight on me. Let's see if, yeah, there you go. You can see that black and orange from the L397s. That's what we have going on in there. So now you'll also notice in these grow out tanks there are tons of snails, and tons of snails are usually a sign of overfeeding. And I like to keep food in front of these juveniles, these grow outs. These tanks are all on automatic water change, so I can just constantly pump food in here and keep food in front of these fish so they get everything they need, when they want it, and don't have to worry really about polluting the water, because again, it's all on automatic water change. But the excess food does cause the snail population to sometimes get a little crazy, but that's okay. We have a lot of assassin snails in this fish room, and when they get really, really bad, I'll just scoop out a bunch of these snails and feed them to the assassins, and that makes short work, quick work of these snails. So anyways, moving along here, I mentioned that I have 6 groups of L134 leopard frog plecos. And I showed you this tank here with my wild caught. We're not going to turn the lights on there because they have their first spawn in quite a while. These top 240 breeders also have L134 leopard frog plecos in there, and they have not spawned for me in quite a while. And again, not sure what's been going on. So I am going to up the amount of water changes. I'm going to probably change their diet a little bit more and add more Ebo Aquarius stick, which you can pick up from jlaquaticsllc.com. Discount code TMAquatics. Probably start feeding more Ebo Aquarius stick because I do get good results with that food. And we'll see what happens. This tank here, there's also some L134s, and then I also have some additional snowball plecos in here that I'm going to be parting ways with here in the very near future. There's also some blue shrimp in here. Nothing real special. They just sell really well at the swaps. They also help keep the tank clean. Now this tank is pretty stirred up. I just did a water change in here, also switched out one of the sponge filters and reloaded the box filter back there with new filter floss. Over here in this tank, another group of L134s, and I also have 6 juvenile high pan cistrus contridens in here. which are one of the black and white. There's a L134. Oh, where'd it go? There's some there. There's one there. Another one up in the triangle. I don't know. There's a Contridin. I don't know if I can torch them very. Hopefully you can see them. But I have 6 juvenile Contridins in there, hoping to get them their own tank here in the near future. And then also in here I have a bunch of blue shrimp as well. Again, nothing special. These aren't world-class, you know, type blue shrimp, but they're blue shrimp. And when you sell them for $1 a piece, hey, you can't get too picky. So in this egg tumbler, I just picked these today. Those are a bunch of Corydoras eggs from my Corydoras Schultzii Black, which have been spawning all winter long for me, but it wasn't until recently that I started picking some of the eggs, because I was really hoping to load this fish room up with Pleco fry, and since that wasn't happening, I started picking some Corydoras eggs. Now everything's spawning. It's just the way it goes. Over here on the black Corydoras tank, I also have another fry box with some freshly hatched. Let's see if I'm going to turn this fan off here. Hold on. Let's see. You can probably see them little things scooting around in there. I don't know, there's 40 or 50 freshly hatched Corydoras juveniles in there. But they keep spawning for me, so I don't know, I'll grow out 100 or so and have them available. So anyways, that's what's going on over here in that egg tumbler. Down here, this is a 29-gallon grow. Not a lot happening down there. I do have some red cherry shrimp. There's some ancestor swabben musters, a couple of long fin super reds in here. There's a couple L181s in here, and a couple other odd and end type bushy nose. But this is mainly a grow out tank and a cherry shrimp breeding factory. So anyways, that's what's going on in that tank. This tank here, nothing really happening here. Again, more cherry shrimp, and then I have 10, or now I have 11 in here, L260 Queen Arabesque Plecos, and they are not spawning for me right now. But I did just add in a new alpha male, so most of these fish in here are females, so they're getting familiar with the new male, and hopefully not too long before they start spawning. Over here, these triple stack of 60 breeders, I've been getting a lot of spawns out of the L260s up here, but I've not been getting a lot of fry. I do have some over in this 10-gallon breeder underneath the sponge filter. Let's see. I don't know if we're going to be able to see them or not, of course. I don't know if you can see them underneath that sponge filter. That's where they're all hanging out. There's about 15 or 20 of them in here. And then in this cave, there's my alpha male. And I just pulled him out of this tank here a couple days ago. He had spawned with another female, but I think he ate all of the eggs except for 2 that were kicked out. And they are up here in this basket, and they are doing well. I don't know if you can see that. There's 2 of them up there that I was able to scoop up, and it looks like they're going to make it, so we'll add a couple more L260s to the batch here. What's been happening with these L260s is the male will go in and spawn, another female will come in almost immediately, because most of these, there's 16 fish in here, and at least 14 of them are females, and they just line up, and he'll spawn with one female, he'll let another one in, then the eggs will get crushed or destroyed. And it's just been a really vicious cycle. So I try to pull him out between spawns, but he's so anxious to get back in that sometimes he'll eat the eggs, and he'll just want to get back into the action. So you know how it is. So anyways, that's what's going on in this tank. Down here, down below, this is where I have my L136, and I have some wobbin musters in here, and I have some really nice 136. These guys are trapping right there right now, so I don't want to torch that too much. I have mainly L136 Bs in here. I have a couple of L136 Cs. You can see that one underneath there. That would be closer to a C, that young one. Here's another beauty back there. would be more of a L136C, and that's a young one too. And then I have one, there's another beautiful fish back there in the corner, but I do have another one in here that's like a 136A that I picked up from Dan's Fish, and not too happy about that particular fish because it actually looks more like an L262, not even close to a 136B. So not real happy with that purchase, but it is what it is. In this fry box, I do have, I think, 8 or 9 L136 juveniles that I just dumped out of a cave. They were over in this cave here with the male and female. They spawned a couple weeks ago. And then, let's see if we can see any. Oh, there's one. On top of that tan cave, you can see that little juvenile in there. There's at least half a dozen L136 juveniles in here that I've seen and counted at any given time. So I know there's a bunch in the tank that are doing okay. Oh, I should mention up here in this 60 breeder, there's some L260s in here, not to mention, unfortunately, I didn't catch a bushy nose spawn before they got out of the cave, but so I do have some L260 fry up there as well. Down below we have L181s and my L400s, and the L400s have been quite productive as of late, as have the L181s. That's a big 181 right there. That's one of the big males right there. And these three over here are females. But I almost always have an L400 on eggs or fry. And in this tank, there are a bunch. This one's down towards the ground. I can't really get any lower, but there are a bunch of juveniles. Oh, there's one right there. Between the piece of slate and the driftwood, you can see that one. There's several juveniles in here of various sizes, ranging from maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch, all the way up to maybe 1.5 inches. So out of different spawns for sure. So that's what's going on over there. Now these two tanks, I reset both of these tanks. This top 75 used to have my L494 Picoltia Rio Perus in here, and I got rid of that group. And why did I get rid of them? Well, because the juveniles just didn't sell very well for me at swaps or on the Get Gills platform. So I literally gave the entire group away. I think I sold them for 120 bucks, and I had 12 fish in that group. I just wanted them gone, and that's how I am. When I want to get rid of something, I get rid of it. I don't look to sell it for a fortune. I just look to get rid of it to somebody who's going to take care of them and do well with the fish. So that's what I did. But I reset this tank with some hand select L134 leopard frog Plecos. And these were holdbacks that I spawned here in my fish room. These are F1s out of my wild caught, but these were all hand selected to start a new group. And there are 12 fish in here that I decided to hold back. They were chosen based on shape and how healthy they were, their patterns, coloration, everything. So those are selects in here. And then I also have in here my group of L519s, and let's see if I can see one. There's one up behind the lift tube there. A couple of them back there. Very similar to the Wobbin Musters, they just have a much larger honeycomb pattern. And a little newer into the hobby, but the L519s, and they have spawned for me once before I reset this tank. They have not respawned since. I only reset this just a couple weeks ago, so it's pretty new. Anyways, but that's what's going on in here. Up here in this fry box, I have another spawn of L181s that I just dumped in here, well, last week. And those came out of this bottom 60 breeder here. This 75 breeder here, this is where I have my 397s, and I just did a reset on this, it's Monday. I did this 2 days ago on Saturday. So I hand selected a dozen, I think there might actually be 13 L397s in here, and then I have 4 L181s in here, second group, but hand selected some males, hand selected some females, and decided to reset this 397 tank. I was getting a lot of spawns out of this group here, but I was having a hard time keeping the babies alive. I did a full reset, cleaned all the filters, got as much crap out of this tank as I possibly could, added some caves, redid the structure, and I really like it. It's a lot cleaner than it was. Now, I did have quite a few L397 adults in there. I still might add another female or two back in, but I ended up pulling, I think, 8. I think I ended up having like 22 or 23 fish in there, which is just way too much. But you can see there's the 397 there. There's another adult right there. They're not real happy because this is a grow-out tank with a bunch of other fish in there, but I needed to thin down the amount here. Haven't really gone through the adults, the 8 adults that I put in here. I don't know if I have pairs, trios, all males, all females, but I'll be selling off those adult breeders that are in here, and probably start selling them at the Quad City Swamp in 2 weeks, April 7th, when I have a vendor table down there. Again, I don't know if I'll sell them as pairs. If I do, it'll be a couple $100 a pair. If I sell them as individual fish, it'll probably be about $40 per individual fish, and no guarantee on sex. So anyway, something like that, maybe $50 a fish. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, this is a grow-out tank with a bunch of stuff in there, mainly Wobbin Musters, 181s, and then there's some 397 juveniles in there. Over here are mainly L494s and Ancistrus Wobbin Musters. Lights are off. Up here in this tank, L494s, a couple Super Red Bushy Nose, and about 20 L400 juveniles in this tank here. So I do want to take another peek up here. See if you can see those juveniles back there. Those juvenile L260s are about an inch long now, and yeah, I don't know if you can see that tail sticking out, but they're almost ready to go into a different breeder or a different grow-out tank. So anyways, moving along here real quick, not a lot happening with the Corydoras. When I tore down this 397 tank here, I pulled out my orange lasers, or a group of orange lasers, put them up here. I did have a second group of green lasers, which I moved down here. This is my original group of green lasers. They have not spawned for me all season. Again, these are the Corydoras blacks. They are actively spawning. In here are Corydoras Weitzmani. They are not spawning, although there are a few juveniles in there. When I pulled this group of green lasers out of here and moved them down there, I did find 3 juveniles in there. So they did spawn at some point, and I missed it, but I did throw those green laser juveniles in with these Weitzmani to just grow out for now. Then over here I've got my Corydoras duplicarius. They look like they're actually spawning right now. And then the Corydoras bozemanii, and they've been spawning. You can see there's probably 30 or 40 juveniles in with the adults right now. But these are real easy fish to breed. You just drop a couple of these spawning mops in here. Let's see if we can see any eggs, because I know they did spawn the other day. I don't see any right now, but I'm sure there's some eggs in there. I'm basically trying to load these up with the Daisy Blue rice fish. But anyways, that's what's going on here. So anyways, we've got a surprise unboxing. I received a box in the mail today, so we're going to go ahead and open that real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll end this video. Alright, YouTube, and this box came from my buddy George at jlaquaticsllc.com, and George has been a very big supporter of this channel here, and it's where I go to get all of my Ebo Aquaristic food. It's where I go to get any Zis product. And if you choose to go to jlaquaticsllc.com, please use the discount code TMAquatics for 15% off your entire order. Also, if you're a channel member, you know what the members discount code is, or if you're a new member, message me and I will provide you a discount code for 20% off any order at jlaquaticsllc.com. So anyways, we'll just dig into this real quick. Let's see what George sent. There's a invoice. Thanks, Tom, George, JLAquaticsLLC.com. George sent a whole bunch of different stickers, which I can add up here. Thank you, George. Especially that zebra Pleco one. There's a Corydoras sticker in there. Let's actually open this real quick. We got his official Ebo Aquarium sticker. Well, this is a magnet. That makes it easy. Alright. Then the rest are stickers. Corydoras duplicarius. Corydoras. I don't know if that's a parallelis or what kind of Cory that is, but Corydoras sticker. Looks maybe like a 333, maybe a Pleco Ceramics AA 333, which he now carries his logo, JL Aquatics, and a nice discus. So thank you, George. Appreciate that. Stickers are always fun and cool. His business card, a pipette. Thank you. That comes in handy, especially right now with a bunch of young Corydoras here in the fish room. That comes in handy for feeding them. His business card, JLAquaticsLLC.com. Oh, wonderful. Youngster Booster. This is a newer food, and I'm not sure. I'm going to crack this open because I don't... Okay. I didn't know if it was a paste or what it is, but it's a fine powder. Almost same size of like baby brine shrimp eggs, maybe. Oh, that's going to be great, especially for these baby Corydoras. I'll be cracking that one open tonight, feeding these baby Corys. Some spirulina paste. This is absolutely one of my favorite foods to feed Ancestris, even Picoltias, even high Pancistris when the fry, once their yolk sacs have started to be completely absorbed. Spirulina paste. It's like Play-Doh, and it just creates a biofilm. It's real easy for them to digest, really easy on their digestive system. And this is absolutely one of my favorites. In fact, I have a larger one over here, and I'm getting rather low on it, but this is what it is. It's just like a Play-Doh. You just ball up some of that, throw it in the breeder box with the fish, and they just absolutely love it. And it's very good food to get them started on food. Discus Soft Gran, 1 millimeter, wonderful, and the seafood soft gran in the 1.8, which is, I love this food. I love to feed this Ebo soft gran. I love the seafood. I love the mussel, and what's the other one? The insect. Those are my three favorite that he has. So if you haven't tried Ebo foods, do yourself a favor, buy some. But what I like to do is I like to buy the big bags and then take out what you need, vacuum pack the rest, and save it for a rainy day, because it's going to cost you a lot less to buy the big bag than it will to buy these little bags. Now, if you want to buy the little bag, go ahead and do that too. Just use TM Aquatics discount code when you do. But I like to buy these big bags and then portion them out. But thank you, George. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm not sure what's in this discus food. I don't know what the ingredients list is, but I hope you don't mind, George, that I'm going to be feeding these to Corydoras and to high Pancistris. I'm sure that they'll destroy it, they'll like it, but happy to try this out. So thank you for this. Yeah, especially this, because I did see this recently, and I was very curious about this food. So thank you, George. Your help and support has been fantastic for me and this fish room. It's been extremely helpful, so thank you very much. So anyways, great unboxing, and let's wrap this video up. Alright, YouTube, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, but just one more plug for George at JLAquaticsLLC.com. He's been a huge supporter of this channel, and it's been extremely helpful. And if you're looking for Ebo food, Zis breeder boxes, Zis brine shrimp hatcheries, anything like that, check out his website, place an order, support a small business, and also help support this channel by using the discount code TM Aquatics on your order, and you'll get 15% off everything at jlaquaticsllc.com. So anyways, as far as breeding here in the fish room, just to recap, the Duplicarius, the Schultz-eye black, the Corydoras bozemanii, they're all spawning. Looks like the second group of green lasers actually spawned and a few survivors made it. Didn't know that happened. That one got past me. As far as Plecos, the L134s are spawning, the L471s are spawning, the 236s have spawned, but no survivors yet. The L260s, the L400s, the L136s, the Wobbin Musters, and the L181s are spawning, and the 397s. So things are finally starting to kick into gear here, and I was getting concerned because they normally start breeding around October, November, December, and here we are into March. But hey, better late than never. We'll take it. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below, and I'll do my best to respond when time allows. If you like the video, hit the like button, and if you think I earned your subscription, hit the subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost you a darn thing, and you can follow along on the TM Aquatics journey. Anyways, I hope everyone has a great day, and until the next one, we'll catch you all later.